Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So today, really quick before I go off and hang out with my brother, I'm going to do a quick tag just because I haven't really done one on my channel in a while. This tag is called Behind My Magic tag. I'll put that up here. And this is by Redwood Rain. So if you haven't checked out her channel, you should definitely do that. I've got my notes set up here and let's go ahead and get into it. Number 1, are you pagan, witch, wiccan, or other? I consider myself, I guess, on the other branch of things. I'm definitely a pagan. I'm definitely a witch. I'm not a wiccan. The best terms that could be used to describe me are probably eclectic, just because I kind of throw everything in. Or probably a fairy witch, which I'm practicing and learning more about and taking on more as a title, and really getting comfortable with that. So those are probably the main labels or titles that I use. Number 2, do you have a patron god or goddess? My matron goddess is Freya. You've probably seen a lot of my videos about her on my channel. If you haven't, I have like a whole list going. And then for February, I have a whole month of videos about her coming out. My patron, I'm not sure if you could really qualify as a god. He is a fairy king, and his name is Finvara. So there's that. He prefers king, or being called a king, over being called a god. But I think the energy equivalent, or the power equivalent, is pretty similar. Number 3. What is your favorite tool of divination? Right now, probably oracle cards, maybe tarot cards. I don't think I have any others that I'm like into, or that I've done enough research on. Number 4, do you or have you ever had a familiar? I don't have one in the physical realm as of here, but I do believe one of my spirit guides, Rem, who is a raven, is my familiar. He guides me and leads me to places and helps me sort of go through and navigate the spiritual world whenever I'm there. Number 5, do you believe in reincarnation? Absolutely, yes, I do. Very strong believer of that. Number 6, do you have a witch's name? If so, what is it? My witchy name is kind of a couple of parts. The main one I started or like made whenever I first came into practice was a 2-parter. So I have my first magical name and then like kind of the last name, I guess you would call it. The first name of my magical name will never change and it'll remain the same forever. That one I don't share with anyone though, because that is the name I consider magical. Names have power. You've heard this before. So I don't like to give away that first bit of that name because I don't want to give away part of my power. I'm superstitious on that fact, so I won't give away the first part. The second half is the only part of my name that can change if I feel like it can, which right now I haven't changed it. So it's remained as Autumnwood or Autumn Grove, but I do not feel that that fits me as much anymore. I may just change it to what my channel name is now, which is Cosmic-Crow. Yeah, so that goes into there. My YouTube name I consider also a magical name. Littlecosmiccrow has really become sort of a staple of who I am, and it's become so much of me that I cannot reject that anymore. It's so perfect and so fitting, so yeah. Number 7, what element do you work with most? I work primarily with water, whether it be meditation, whenever it's raining, whatever. I do mostly that, and then probably fire for the secondary one, just because I do a lot of candle magic, and I really enjoy incense too. I really connect well with all the elements, to be honest, but water is probably the closest one for me. Number 8, what got you interested in witchcraft? I'd say a lot of things were contributing to that. I can't speak today. I learned about it through a friend first, and I think at the time what intrigued me when I learned about it was the idea of being connected with nature, and also the idea of a goddess and a god, there being a balance of both instead of just one, because she was Wiccan, so she kind of explained her thoughts and beliefs to me. So that really drew me in. I would also have to say probably like folklore bits, anything about nature spirits or connecting with the spirits of nature, or even the fairy really drew me in. The idea that like the whole nature is my church thing, instead of being at a church, or like drummings, chants, all of that really drew me in. There were, yeah, like I said, there were so many things contributing to it. It was just like, over time, everything sort of added up and like hit me in the face and was like, hey, BT dubs, you're a witch, you should check that out. Or you're a pagan, you should like kind of look into that. And so once I kind of got into my paganism, my spirituality, that really led to using witchcraft in a way to change me for the better, or to use that as a tool to change me for the better. I think also science is kind of a role in this too, like having a place of science and religion together to like be codependent on one another in creating my belief system of how magic works. So I'll have to go into all of that in a different video, but like I said, there were a bunch of factors contributing in, but it was mostly my spirituality first. Once I found my spirituality, that's really when I started connecting more with the word witch and practicing witchcraft. Number 9, have you ever used a Ouija board? So I have not used a Ouija board, and there's really only a couple of reasons why not. It's not because I am strictly against the idea. It's more that, number 1, I would need the right setting to do it, and the right spirit, I guess, quote unquote, to talk to. I would not talk to just a random spirit. I would have to contact one of my guides or someone that I'm already comfortable with talking to. Like if I had a dead relative maybe I wanted to talk to, that would be what I used it for. But at this time there's not really any reason for me to do that. Secondly, I would need a spirit board of my liking, because I kind of think just the regular Ouija board is kind of ugly. Like I need more colors and prettiness. So if you looked up some of the pretty spirit boards, I would have to get one of those. It would not be just the boring plain one. And the third factor contributing into that is that my boyfriend has set up a boundary for him, and Ouija boards make him uncomfortable. So out of all of the things that I do with my craft, he doesn't really care. Nothing of like any of that really bothers him, but Ouija boards do bother him. So that's kind of our ground rule set on that, is I told him that I won't bring any in, and I will respect him by not doing that. So if I do use one, it will not be here in our home. It would be outside and away from it, and not near my boyfriend. And I think it's good to respect his thoughts on that, because like out of everything, he accepts that I'm a pagan, he accepts that I do spellcraft and witchcraft and all of that. No problems there. His only thing is a Ouija board, so you know, I'll respect him on that manner. Number 10, would you teach witchcraft to your children? I absolutely would, but I wouldn't force them into it, because I was forced to like believe and practice the ways of, I guess, Christianity and stuff like that. So the idea of forcing my children to do anything is not very appealing, I guess. If they were interested in paganism and witchcraft, I would definitely teach them the ways. So let's say if they wanted to add something on the altar that I have, or if they wanted to help me with a spell or something like that, I would definitely be all about that and add them in. But if they're not interested in it, I would rather not force them, because that's not going to get us anywhere. You know what I mean? I've already dealt with that on my personal path with my parents. where they tried to force their belief systems or how they do things on me. And I think that caused quite a lot of damage during my childhood. So I'd like to not do that if I ever decide to have children. Number 11, do you or have you had a mentor or teacher? I haven't had like a specific mentor or teacher that's like sat down and talked with me and chatted with me or anything and like taught me the way of the witch or the pagan. I really consider my mentors and my teachers out there to be those that I admire through YouTube, through Instagram, the writers of some books. The list goes on and on. My mentors live on out there through my friends, through some family members as well. There are many witches and pagans on the day-to-day that bring little pieces of information that blow my mind. And it's just that small little teaching every day that kind of comes through. So I do have mentors and teachers all around me who probably don't even realize that they're teaching me or giving me bits of knowledge. And it's really nice to have that in my life. I'm very thankful for that. Number 12, how do you reconnect when you feel out of touch with your practice or self? One of my main things that I do is I don't do anything. I allow myself to take the time to go through whatever break I need. My spirituality and my craft focus goes in cycles. Sometimes I'm very interested and all forward with it, and other times I'm not as much. And that's okay. I don't think it's healthy to be obsessive over something 24/7, like all the time, constantly, and not have any repercussions towards that in the end. You know, of course, in the beginning, when you first get into it, yeah, you're gonna be like that, probably for, I don't know, maybe a year or so. After that point, I think things start to settle down, or at least it has for me. I'd say just take it easy and let me go through whatever I'm going through, figure out why I'm feeling however I'm feeling, and once I get to that point, once I'm ready to come back to it, I will. And at the end of the day, if I never come back to paganism or witchcraft, that's okay too, because that just means I'm constantly growing and changing towards whoever I'm supposed to be. And I think it's important for us to remember that we're not always going to be the same. I'll always have that appreciation, even if I did leave the craft or my spirituality. I'll always have the appreciation for where it got me. You know, I think we're often too scared to admit that we might be growing away from something if we do. Not saying that that's always going to be the case, but I think sometimes that is the case. And it's important to bring that up as well. 13, do you have a dream journal? I do not. I should probably get myself one at some point, but I'm not that big of a fan of journaling. So 14, what is something witchy you want currently? Probably like a million oracle decks, or tarot. One of those like $50 Freya altar statues. I have seen it online, and I've been wanting to buy one for her. And I still haven't. I've been wanting that for like 2 years and I still haven't bought it. One day I'll get it, but it's not today. Not happening today. 15, do you think it is important to know the history of paganism or witchcraft? Absolutely. It's really good to know about the things that happened in the past so we can fight for our rights now as pagans and witches. Since our loved ones, our ancestors of the past, were shunned so badly for it. Now, I will say, obviously, not every witch or pagan's gonna know everything about the history or past of it, and I don't think that's a bad thing either, because we can always still do research or learn about it. But it's definitely important to have at least somewhat of an understanding in whatever you practice or whatever you believe. It's good to have somewhat of an understanding so you have that base to go off of. Number 16, do you think witchcraft has improved your life? Yeah, and I would venture to say if you are practicing witchcraft and you don't think it's improved your life, you may be in the wrong area. You might want to try something else. Witchcraft and paganism have literally saved my life. Without it, I probably wouldn't be here today. So yeah, it's improved my life in many ways. Number 17, do you believe in quote unquote fantasy creatures? Yeah. Yes. If you've seen my channel, you probably know that already. I'm very into fae. Bigfoot's a maybe for me, but I think if Bigfoot did exist, he might not anymore, just because we don't really have any proof of that. Aliens are intriguing to me. There's just so many things. The easiest way to put that is, if they don't exist right now, they may have existed in times before. If they don't exist on this realm, they may exist on a different realm from us entirely. That's how I feel. I would think it's more likely the other realm side of things, but I digress. That's a big topic. I'll probably do a video on different fantasy creatures later on in my YouTube career. 18. How have you created your own path, and how is it unique? I really love this question. I don't think it gets asked enough, and it really kind of drives home a deeper thought of like, who am I and what do I practice? How am I unique in my practice? For me, I think I take on a lot of the balance of light and dark energy, the style of reflection, the yin, the yang, recognizing that the two together, meeting in the middle, that reflection energy to one. I try to embody that in my path as much as possible, and I try to recognize the balance in everything. As well as that, I also believe in the fae, or the spirits of the land that are unseen here but are definitely present. Their love for nature and their protectiveness for nature is very strong, and it definitely drives me to be a better person in my own craft and spirituality. Understanding the beauty of things besides the aesthetics of beauty, emotions that are unfavorable, things like that, recognizing the beauty in everything. And then also, one very pivotal point is the understanding of wild, creative, chaotic, and playful energy of witchcraft or spirituality. I try to live and push that through my being as much as I possibly can. My path is unique in several ways, because I don't think I've seen a lot of people taking on all of these things and merging them together. But then who is exactly like me in this world, right? There are many that could maybe come close or are potentially on the same page with me, but nobody is like me. 19, where is the most magical place you've ever been? I have a kind of a two-parter for this one. One is the magical place that I've been, the other one is one that I would like to go to. So the most magical place I've been to is actually in a Florida beach, because it's one of the cleanest and prettiest beaches. I don't remember the name of it, but it's so beautiful there. It was such a beautiful experience, especially since the beaches near me are not nearly as clean and the sands are not nearly as white and beautiful. Either that or the natural bridge caverns near me. That was quite a beautiful experience as well. The second one for the place that I would love to go because of its beauty would be somewhere in Ireland, just because I'm so strongly drawn to that area. I have to visit one day. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but one of these days I gotta go. 20. What is your favorite color and why? My favorite color changes almost every 3 minutes, but I think the main three right now are black, green, and purple. The green and purple being more of pastel-ish colors, but all except the darker ones as well. Black has always been one of my favorite colors. It's a very strong protective color, and it's always been one that I've worn to almost ward off the energy of people that I don't want to deal with. I used this practice in high school. Dress all in black, and those who don't like you will leave you alone. Or if they assume the worst of you because you wear that color, they leave you alone. And it's really great. As for green, green connects me to nature and is also the color I believe my main aura color to be. It's the color I've seen on myself. And it also connects me strongly to my heart, I feel like. But heart chakra, so, you know. The purple. Purple is like such a color to me that connects with the mind. It connects with like also third eye if you want to use the other purple. It connects me, like it feels so spiritual, that color. And very rich, not in like a bad way, but like, you know, when you eat like one of those dark rich chocolate cakes and sometimes it's like too sweet for you to even handle. That's kind of what I think of purple for a color. Like when you eat it as a human trying to understand the otherworldly spiritualness, it's just like too much for you to handle, but it's so good and you want more, but also it's like a lot to handle at once. That's how I kind of feel about that. I don't know if that makes sense, but we're gonna go with that. That's what I think of when I think of purple. It's just very spiritual and divine. 21, do you wear pagan jewelry in public? It depends. It depends on the situation. Most of the time I'm not too, like, I'm never really afraid, I guess, to wear it in public. I won't wear it to work because I work in a children's entertainment place. So if I do wear something like my pentagram or pentacle, there'll be parents that freak out, and it's just not worth even dealing with because I know people will freak out over it and then they're gonna be mad, and then not my coworkers, but the other people in the entertainment place will probably be like more likely to ask me questions about it. I would just rather leave it be. Like, my coworkers around me know that I'm pagan and know of my channel and accept me. And that's fine with me. I don't need to wear a piece of jewelry to show that to them. They already know who I am and love me. So, yeah, I don't really feel the need to wear it just because it would be a lot to deal with. But if I'm just going to the store or something, or like, I don't know, out, if I feel like wearing my pentagram, or if I feel like wearing a yin and yang symbol or something like that, or the goddess symbol, I'll wear it. I don't care. Like, if someone asks me a question, I'll try and answer their questions to the best of my abilities, as long as they're respectful. But yeah, it depends on the situation. And lastly, 22, what is your favorite thing about being a witch? My favorite thing is it gives me something to live for. It gives me something to be interested and to feed my mind and my soul on a day-to-day basis. It gives me excitement to be alive and the playfulness to continue on and just to be whatever I think I can be. And it gives me that freedom as well. So I think that's really important to have in my life. So yeah, that was the Behind My Magic tag by Redwood Rain. If you guys are interested in answering any of these questions or wanting to do your own VR to that, I have left the link for her channel down below, or for the video that she did down below. So you guys can go check that out in the description box. If you want to answer any of these questions down below in my comments, please feel free to. And yeah, let me know if you end up doing a response to this as well, because I'd love to catch up on yours too and see how you answered things. With all of that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, much love and goodbye.